in the middle. Lynx is forced to recall as he finds the back line, and Meza was there waiting for him. And now he's going to try and jump in. XQC also goes forward. Where's the dive? Lynx is going to be there with him. He finds the hang straight away.
Yeah, able to get to hang out of the mix is a really big deal for them. AZK is trying to bring it back a little bit, but it is still going to be in the advantage of Yikes so far, which I think is going to be a really fun team name to say throughout the day. Rafa's going to come in and try to stall this out, but he's going to give his life for it.
Hood actually boots Meza, but he's caught amongst three here. It's going to be tough for him to stay alive, and no, he eventually goes down. The Transcendence from Dahang going to be helping him a lot with that. Zard's going to get forced back into the corner. He still has Ginger Pop with him, but the self-destruct doesn't catch anyone at all. It's 99% already for Yikes. They're really putting on a show here. Meza finds Ginger Pop, but that's not the frag you want at this stage of the fight. You need more. He's got the Primal Rage. He's trying to get in the face of Zara as he uses that barrage, but it's not really going to matter. He finds Shatter. It's another self-destruct. It doesn't really amount to much here. It's just Meza on the point, looking very alone and very dead.
It's a very patient resurrection, too, from Ginger, and I figured it was going to be just the one if they had to, because they lost to Hoon early, and you really want your Lucio back here.
They're going to force an engagement from Liquid, and they haven't been going so well in this game. Without Shatter on that Genji, it seems to have been lacking that effectiveness. But AZK again, Hex trying to get cute around the side, but won't find much to start with.
Yeah, when your team is going to run Fair Mercy, you kind of know that this is the angle they're going to take. They don't want to really fight in the courtyard, and when you start pushing onto the point, that's where Fair Mercy can come inside the point. The ceiling in this building enormous, so it's not really the detriment to them to have to fight inside, and they are just bullying out to hang, and granted the retreat has been there to try to deal with these divers, but so far they're always losing.
To dive the back line himself, but he's taken so much damage. Now the tack buys are going to come in over the top here for ID. Let's see what he can find with this one. Not a lot. He has to do it from the outside. He actually gets onto space at the very least here after it got desuited, but that's the res. That was intended. Good space. Gets res on foot, not in his suit. Pete comes over the top there with a quick barrage. It's going to be 2 kills before Dahang could get there with the Transcendence.
That was such an important res, because all the res did was bring 6 back to fight another 6. Generally, you want to be at the advantage coming outside of the res, but with Pizza able to get a couple of them down, so it should be all over, but the crying for them. Lynx is still going to have Pulse Bomb up, and it is about 5v3 as it's desperation time to get on the point.
Yeah, the bomb almost got eaten, actually. Shadow just turned away at the wrong time. It didn't actually amount to anything anyway, but that's Lynx that finds ID, Space and Zar. And that res, yeah, it was a 6v6 res Hex, but hey, it was stalled so much. They actually had enough time to get everyone back onto the point properly. They actually had space there in a Diva suit. They're looking sick right now. And Lynx is looking fantastic. Pizza's looking dominant. This is really good performance from Yikes. They're going to try it a little bit themselves. No successful knockoff there for ID on the bridge, but he's going to have the healing from Dahang as they go in now. Bubble drop down there, but Meza goes down early. Again, Lynx is the culprit in the first pick off of the fight. That's huge. Now he needs to be careful. AZK is going to be looking for him, but he just gets the damage on towards Dahang. Combining with Space, of course, who was credited with the kill ultimately, and that pick off is going to stop you. It looks like Yikes are defending their Mercy a lot better than Liquid are.
And that's been kind of the theme of it so far. I think in these battles, and it's 2 quick kills come off, and that's a lot of their healing and most of their tank ability as well. Now all of their healing now out of the mix. It's going to be difficult to find a way that they bring this back, but that might be it, as Lynxer is able to take down a couple. However, there is a Tracer on the Team Liquid side of things. He's able to come in and do some work too, so we're getting down to the last fight of it. A sound barrier again from Dahoon will bring 3 in on the point fight.
Yeah, these reinforcements have actually been really timely. Just in time, the rest of Yikes have arrived here. Now they have the man advantage on the point, and Meza knows he needs to stall, but now he's going to try and chase down the Pharaoh or the Mercy. Self-destruct comes in from downtown, but finds absolutely nothing there, and Space is forced to stop and resuit again. He's going to be later to this fight than the rest of his teammates. Now XQC, he gets the Primal Rage. He's trying to knock ID away and got him so low. He chases him down and finds him, and gets another jump as well to keep himself alive. That was some nice play, but Yikes have lost their Mercy in amongst all of this action. Now they're looking to try and even the odds and find Dahang, but he's keeping himself scarce. He's going to have to fall down the pit though. Nicely done, good boot from Space.
This is just insane to watch. Whatever happened to fighting 6v6? What is this, Oasis, where the fight just starts and never ends? This has been bonkers for the last 5 minutes or so. It's alternating red and blue in the kill feed. It's like I'm wearing 3D goggles here, the old ones. They finally...
Oh no!
Yeah, they get off the... Oh.
I got off the point. Well, regardless, whatever you want to say, it's still X-Denial with Ringers up 2-1 in this one. It's pretty impressive nonetheless. Dylan, though, finds an early demise there. Doesn't quite work out. ID is going to get himself 2 kills over that fight, finding Ginger Pop there with the rocket.
Yeah, that's very easy for them, and oftentimes, especially in North America, when you maybe have trouble with the combo, if you feel like you can run a competent combo, it is a fine answer to it. That's unable to get the full cleanup, but I thought ID should be getting a lot more work done. As soon as that Diva's out of the mix, it's kind of open season for him, and Za's going to come in and get a triple on this barrage. Well,
yeah, gets the D-suit on. I'll give it to you, trust me. it's fine. It's King Deal. It's fine. Nicely done, though. That's important as well to get that D-suit. Surprisingly, it actually happened after the barrage came down. So neither of these teams are really worrying about that too much, but that's going to be the miracle. Yikes probably have similar issues to what we saw LG Evil have in accessing the high ground. You've got to make a difficult decision. Losing links are early. Fight's already over. Pulse bomb on towards space makes him quite low. Pizza can do work with his tactical visor, but Liquid are cutting off a lot of those sight lines. He managed to get the drop on AZK, and that might be the difference maker, but you can see that Liquid are investing late into this fight of sound barrier. They believe they can win it. A sick bite grenade from Ginger Pop, though, makes it very easy to cut through that overshield. Meza lands on Pizza. That's a really big pick off there in this fight, and it's going to allow Liquid at least to hang around a little bit longer. AZK and Shadow get back, continuing to fight. Ginger Pop gets picked out of the mix of the tank, which is quite nicely done, and now Meza can stall this payload for a long time in space. Use that bubble, make life hard.
It's just been very back and forth. Reinforcements were giving advantage to Liquid at the early part of it. Another late sound barrier for Dahun, and I don't think that's late necessarily in the way we think of it, but a lot of times he's very comfortable sound barriering 3 or 4 people. They really understand when they have an actual advantage and are good at locking it out. You saw him do it all the time on Lijiang, but now Liquid comes back into it a little bit. We'll give up the point though.
Yeah, AZK with
of combinations they can maybe work with. We do see that Za has switched over to the Roadhog of all things, so they're gonna go a little tank heavier, but watch Linkser here, see if he can initiate with a pulse bomb.
We're gonna see what he can do. He gets around the backside at the very least here. Now the sound barrier gonna be favoring the side of Yikes here, gonna make it easy for Linkser to go deeper. But he's saving his pulse bomb. Now he uses it. Meza, there's no way you're escaping that one, and he made sure he did that extra initial bit of damage to ensure it. Shadow though, coming with a Dragon Blade here. Won't be a nano boost this time, or will it? No, he's gonna go through anyway and see what he can get. So far, very little. He's just got a bunch of tanks to try and contest with, and that's the thing. There's now triple tank comp from Yikes, so it's going to be a little bit hard to cut through, but they get it done anyway.
ID will turn that visor on towards the end, and his Cyclops vision turns everything red in his eyes. Ginger Pop's going to come in and just try to stall it out, but if they don't get a couple kills here, which is difficult to do against some of the DPS in the position that Liquid has, that cart will hook him, and hope that you hit that hook. Right now, trying to deal with XQC, finds him in the corner.
Dead.
That is a huge pick.
And there's nothing you can do about that. XQC's not to know that there's going to be a Roadhog in the mix here, and Shadow just did what anyone would do in that position. AZK's managed to penetrate up to the back lines here. He recoils just in time to avoid getting slept, but now the sound barrier is there. Meza and AZK connect like a Mack truck to the face. There's not much Dahun can really do on the payload there in space. Of course, is left to last. The tiniest morsels of him remain, and it will be Liquid finally getting somewhere. That first pick really helped him now. XQC can only just come back and stall a bit.
That first pick was enormous. See the good things that can happen for you if you just check your corners. They go through there, they look immediately to their left, hook and delete the Winston. They got nothing out of it, snowball it from there.
At least. Dahun's in the back, he's going to keep this one contested, and as now Links are in space, need to do a lot of damage. They can't cut through the Transcendence though, that's the problem. Good timing from Dahang, that might be the fight winner. He then turns around after the Transcendence and finds Dahun, space being corralled off on this payload here in Ginger Pop. All of a sudden, attention going towards him. He tries to keep his Diva inside the suit, but space gets completely busted out of that one now. And it might be a matter of Liquid collapsing inside the shuttle here as Shadow was thinking about it.
Yeah, really nice for him. Yeah, you can play a little bit like a tank sometimes with your Genji just getting up there with the deflex. A beautiful pulse bomb comes in, and it has just been raining on the Yikes parade non-stop. And you're right, that very late Transcend to keep 3 people alive and win the fight was great. The sound barrier might be a little questionable, but I've watched Rafa stream Quake, and I think do enough. If he could have swung that kill onto Ginger Pop earlier, it might have been there, but now we're entering our last fight, Uber.
Yeah, and Liquid have to go for this. There's no other choice. XQC goes to the high ground here, but show to Shadow. He's hoping to get a Dragon Blade for this fight, but he doesn't quite have it. Now he's got it. He'll be ready to go. Sound barrier comes out as well for Liquid. Shadow goes straight in, finds Ginger Pop immediately. No Ana healing, and ID finds Dahun. Both supports are down already for Yikes in this fight, and this has got to be a cleanup for Liquid, especially with the Transcendence for Dahang. That's just win more, and at this stage, that's all they need. They're meters away from finishing this one off, and that's it. Pete's the last one standing. Doesn't matter if you can pick off, if you're on your own, and Liquid get it done. Rafa and AZK yet again over there, and not much to be done. AZK with 3 kills over the fight, eventually picking off Ginger Pop.
So Ground War pretty much decided what the Fair Mercy War was going to end up as too, if you lose everyone after Resurrection, because oftentimes people are going to be rezzed in unideal situations.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need to see that come out here for Yikes in this fight if it starts badly for them. But it starts well. The Hang actually goes down. Both Mercies are down. The Ginger Pop's not going to be there to supply the aforementioned reds. At least there's a sound barrier for Rafa though for Liquid. That's going to help him weather the storm of these rockets coming down. And ID gets the job done. He finds he manages to connect with that rocket. A pulse bomb on XQC, but he gets that primer rage just in time to keep him alive. Rafa finds the 1v1 duel up against his opposite opponent there on the Lucio. Shadow 2K gets the D-suit on space. That's going to hurt. Now ID has a lot more room to breathe, a lot more rockets to connect. Link's desperately trying to get away from the rocket damage, but he can't. Meza's going to be there as well, but there's the res.
A really nice res, and now we got to keep eyes on Dahang to see if he can counter-res this back in their favor. XQC goes down there, so the most of their ground force is now being picked apart. Ginger goes down yet again, and unless Linkser's got a miracle in his pocket, he's not going to be able to do it for them. Full team dead, and Liquid will take the first stage.
That's some brutal fighting there. It'd be quite interesting actually to see that ID had a very, very good round. Real big changes to speak of. Again, it's going to be the Pharmacy Jewels that will be highlighting this round over in the air, and AZK and Lynx are going to have to get, again, the groundwork done. Those supports picked off if they can, especially those Lucios. But now over the point, again, a little bit of early damage on towards ID and Rafa. Even Mesa's quite damaged up. All of Liquid are actually feeling the burn right now, and they've got to be careful. That healing needs to be coming pretty soon. That's the pick-off, though. Shadow finds XQC. He's going to go very low himself, but there's no one there to defend Dahun. He goes down. Now it's a 5v4, 6v4, in fact. Lynx and Dahun need to bring it back.
Well, Ginger Pop just tiptoed right through the roses. He ate a rocket early, but then ended up flying through the Matrix, which ate the second rocket, which was bound towards him. Him staying alive just that much longer gets everyone topped off, gets Pizza back to better health, who's able to get a 2K of his own. Eventually, ID will go down to Za as well, who owns
to be the Primal Rage Force from XQC because he got Pulse Bomb stuck by AZK, but he gets revenge. He gets into the backline and finds Dahang. What a beautiful opening for him, and Dahang had the Resurrect. Now the Sound Barrier needs to be drawn out of Liquid to keep them going in this fight, but the Self-Destruct secures Rafa. And all the ultimates are actually really coming up trumps here right now for Yikes. This is beautiful stuff, and they should win the round off this.
They needed that res. There's no other way about it. They needed that res. This is a map warrior. It's brawlier than some of the other control maps. People are able to reinforce quickly. You're going to need an overwhelming advantage. The good thing is this stallout has come out enough that they might get a res in this fight no matter what. If they can just touch the point, they've got the people out there to do it. There's the res.
That's big. It's Shatter and Dahang getting back up on their feet. That makes a big deal there as well. Dahang obviously able to get that big res, but Linkser was quick to respond. He already picked off Dahang. He was actually so far up in the air and he went down. ID tries to go for a very close barrage, but gets cut down by Zar. A rocket from behind, and now that's a res. A bit more of a tempo res at this stage for Yikes, but that's going to get the job done. One apiece here.
Should be able to at least mitigate some of the damage from Za would have come in over the top. Dahang gets those picks because he's just such a master at the charge shot and knows his angles and just able to right-click his enemies down. So far, a little bit of poke, but the Diva's going to dive in.
Yeah, it's just the tanks for the moment that are getting in there, but now Lynx has managed to join them on this dive for Yikes. Dahang gets taken down. That was kind of the main objective there, so their healing is going to be lacking from that department, but they've committed so much to this, and the tanks, Meza and Shadow, have been able to make this far more punishing. Dahun finds AZK. I'm not actually sure how that happened. He was sitting back on the point, and that gives Lynx a lot more room to work now. He doesn't have to worry about being harassed by an opposite Tracer. He can go to work on trying to burst down Meza, and he does do that just before Dahun goes down to the Tester Rifle.
I think Space was able to get another mech back because he went down very early in
Lynx was able to get the Pulse Bomb kill. Pizza now is up in the air and needs to avoid the Roadhog Cooks, but apart from that, he's probably going to be pretty confident just to lay down more damage. AZK was his first victim. He's got the Mercy there for damage boost. ID gets caught up with Space. He goes for the hook, and now the res comes in to get XQC back on his feet.
Yeah, and one of the problems, I think, too, is look at Linkser just being a terror anyway. He's going to take down ID. I think the biggest issue I have with adding in a third tank is you're just going to give Linkser even more pulse bombs, but he's been running wild on the ground. Desperation time for Liquid as they jump both tanks in early.
Yeah, that's the barrage coming through here as well, and Shatter has to get up in Zar's face, but Zar's actually not killing himself with the rockets this time. Shatter actually gets himself desuited there for a noble cause, but it wasn't quite what he would have hoped for. ID's had to switch back to the Soldier 76 now. Dahang gets caught out. Pulse Bomb, Linkser just went for him straight away. The entirety of Liquid were in disarray. They had no choice but to come forward. He was out of position. AZK just jumps over, gets killed as soon as he arrives. Meza has Primal Rage, so this will stall for a little bit of time, and that might allow Shatter to actually get back onto this point with a quick boost. That's a nice self-destruct, though. That was really nicely placed at the end by Space. Remember, this is a match point now for Yikes. They win this round, they're going to win it out completely. It's going to get interesting, though, if Liquid brings it back. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Now it's been traded out, though. Ginger Pop goes down, but for Meza, that's a decent trade, actually, for Yikes. And losing XQC, though, doesn't really help their issue here. It's going to be ID now up in the sky again, with the Hang able to pressure down. It's only Space and Lynx are on the point at this stage. Quite isolated, quite alone. Zar was on the side of the map for most of that fight. I'm not sure what he was trying to contribute.
A much better stance, while ID will go down now, but I liked how he ultimate battle here, but they're going to initiate with the sound barrier.
Yeah, that might expire before it can really be effective, actually. Yes, the sound barrier's run out now, and now the damage is coming back. So maybe slightly early there from Rafa, I don't think it really hurt them though, was the fact that Zar just gets a point-blank barrage right into the face of Shatter. ID trying to reciprocate with a barrage of his own, but he actually doesn't find any damage here, and he's also lacking teammates. Space tries to get in his face, but Dahang arrives just in time to keep ID nice and topped up, so it's going to have to be Zar who delivers the killing blow. He just wrecks Dahang. This guy is insanely accurate with those rockets, and now he and ID are just going to go off in the corner and do their thing for 5 minutes. No, Space shuts down ID, puts that one thankfully to rest, and 99%, this is it. It looks like Yikes are going to take this one away. It's going to be Rapper falling down on the point. AZK trying to keep this alive, trying to keep their series hopes alive. Dashes through the point. Another recall here, but Lynx is on top of him, trying to clean up AZK. He stayed alive for a long time, to be fair, but that was a brilliant concussive blast. Mezzi gets knocked back off the point. There's no chance to recontest. Nicely done by Yikes. Nicely done.